Greetings, UNA members. My name is Mandia Tigo, UNA President. I woke up this morning and there was information making circles on social media. And as the leader of this great organization, it was imperative for me to address some of these issues and set the record straight. Information is being paraded on social media how the UNA executive, especially myself, the president, being irresponsible in spending association funds without authorization. I would like to shed some light on that and set the record straight. First of all, it's a campaign season, and we know tensions are high. Everyone is trying to put their best foot forward. Use every opportunity available and make it political. However, I would like to bring a sense of calmness in the UNA members and assure them that UNA funds are intact. Every penny is being accounted for. No one is misusing UNA funds. We ran on that precedent of being financially transparent. So, gallant members of UNA, it has been brought to my attention that apparently I spent UNA funds, specifically February 7th, where my political opponent claims I spent $95.35. Now, I would wish to bring this to light, gallant members. UNA has been working so diligently, especially with the help of the executive and other stakeholders, to transition from a 3-day weekend convention to actually being involved in our communities and doing things beyond the convention, which is what we've tried to do. Some of the things we've done is partner with other organizations that have different causes that we can align with, most especially being the Uganda Fistula Fund. And also, we have hospitals that we've worked with. Last year, after the Boston Convention, UNA managed, with the help of Coca-Cola and the Speaker of Parliament, to ship medical equipment worth 1.5 million US dollars. How did this come about? We have folks that have been working behind the scenes to ensure that we can secure this medical equipment. My lunch with one of the members of Southwestern Methodist Hospital, we met for lunch at On the Border on February 17th to discuss how we can secure more medical equipment that we can ship back to Uganda. Again, like I said, the medical equipment that was shipped last year after the Boston Convention was distributed in the districts of Kalangala, Kakuto, and Kamuli. And these were distributed by the Speaker of Parliament herself. And these were worth 1.5 million US dollars. These are some of the things that we're doing in our communities that people never talk about. However, leading up to some of these things, we incur expenses, just like the one I incurred on February 7th of $95.36, which could potentially yield another 1.5 million US dollars in medical equipment that can actually go and help our people back home. The other expense that is being paraded online as well is for February 17th. Between February 17th and February 21st, I spent a total of 112 US dollars of UNA funds. How did this come about? February 17th, we spent an amount of $35.14, and that was in buying fuel, because we were driving, myself and the executive secretary, to go to Austin, Texas, where we were going for a fundraiser by the Uganda Fistula Fund. And this is intended to build a hospital in Soroti, a fistula hospital. Today we have a campaign going on in UNA of buy a brick. And whoever buys a brick, that money is going towards raising funds for building this hospital. In Austin, Texas, February 17th, we had a fundraising event. So we purchased fuel to make the trip to Austin, Texas. That is where the $35.14 comes in. Actually, we even used the secretary's personal vehicle. We did not get a rental. We did not bill UNA this. We used the personal vehicle and all we used was fuel. On the way there, we stopped at CVS. We purchased water, Gatorade, and Red Bull. which was supposed to sustain us for 2 days, that were going to be in Austin, Texas. And we actually, once we got to Austin, Texas, we were able to fundraise 15,000 US dollars off of the $112 that they're saying that Artigo used without being authorized. We used that money for fuel to go to Texas and fuel on February 21st to come back to Dallas, Texas. While in Austin, Texas, gallant members of UNAA, we managed to secure hotels and we paid for those out of pocket. We fed ourselves while we were in Austin. None of that was expense to UNAA. We only used fuel and water, Gatorade and Red Bull to get us there. However, we managed to raise 15,000 US dollars, and that is going towards constructing the Fistula Hospital. So for $112, ladies and gentlemen, we managed to raise 15,000 US dollars. But we do not expense the personal vehicle, the hotels, and our feeding while we were in Austin, and the time away from our families. Now, we know we signed up for that. But let's look at that. Let's put it on a weighing scale. That is the right judgment that we ran on, and that is the right judgment that we are applying today to make sure we're saving UNAA money. But again, we're doing things that are changing lives. Ladies and gentlemen, the other thing I'd like to bring into play is the withdrawal of March 17th of $300. We've lost some members in UNAA. Each time we lose a member, UNAA has made it an obligation to contribute $300. That is what that money went to. What I've not seen is another $300 that was withdrawn in June that is not part of what was reported by the political opponent, trying to make this political, but we still have to conduct UNAA business. That is not part of it. So that $300 was UNAA's Mabugo contribution to a family that had lost a loved one that was a UNAA member. That is where that money went. Then on May 30th, we see my card being cloned for $100. That is the same weekend I'm supposed to be in Washington, D.C. How am I in Washington, D.C.? Memorial Weekend. And at the same time, I'm at a hotel in Dallas. It doesn't add up. That was cloned. It was a fraud. We filed a case, and that was dropped, and UNAA money was refunded because it was a fraudulent expense, or it was a transaction that was never authorized by myself. So the weekend we are talking about is the same weekend I was in Tuegaite, and I actually managed to secure an airplane ticket because I had to meet with the Speaker of Parliament at the Tuegaite Convention, and we represented UNAA. I was there, the Secretary was there, registering people, and the Treasurer was also part of it. But since it's a political season, it's a campaign season, myself and the Treasurer were not covered, but the Secretary was covered. And my main gist of traveling to Washington, D.C. to meet the Speaker was to ensure that in Miami this year, members can be able to sign up for dual citizenship, table our issues of reducing the dual citizenship fees, be able to register for national IDs, be able to register for SIM cards in Miami without having to make the trip to Uganda and incurring over $2,000 of traveling. If we can bring those services to our members at our conventions, why can we not do that? After all, we are here to serve members and serve their interests. That was the expense incurred. While we were there, indeed we incurred expenses. We paid for the dinner cruise, and we also paid for the gala on the closing night for our secretary. I incurred my own expense for that dinner. While we were interacting with other folks of interest, yes, we incurred a $24 charge here, a $28 charge here, and a $95 charge here. But at the end of it all, we accomplished by meeting the Speaker of Parliament. And today, I proudly say, because of my meeting with the Speaker of Parliament, we are going to be having these services in Miami. All this is UNAA work. It's not Atigo going on personal business. Ladies and gentlemen, another thing I would bring to light is, most of you have seen me in Uganda the last 4 weeks on UNAA work. What I've not seen being reported is saying Atigo spent $1,400 on an airline ticket to go to Uganda. I've personally spent close to $4,000 the 4 weeks I was in Uganda in airline ticket, my accommodation, my feeding, my transportation up country. Ladies and gentlemen, you saw what UNAA was doing in communities, giving out mattresses, starting from Kasangati to Luweero to Nakasongola to Waboke and all the way to Mayuge. None of this has been expensed to UNAA. All these were personal funds being used to do the good work of UNAA. I'm not going to expense this to UNAA because I signed up for this. This is what I love to do. But I've spent $4,000 in personal funds to do UNAA work. And it speaks for itself. I've been able to meet the head of state of Uganda, the Prime Minister, all ministers, the permanent secretaries, internal affairs, UCC, NIRA, public service, Ministry of Health. This in the name of ensuring that Investment Authority, so that, and even the deputy governor of Bank of Uganda, speaking of diaspora bonds, how can we impact change? How can UNAA be more relevant in our country? Ethiopia has done it. They recently overtook Kenya as the biggest economy in the region. We've been more stable than Ethiopia. I've been discussing and modeling Ethiopia to see how the Ugandan diaspora can impact development in our country. How do we help our people in the diaspora? How do we congregate all the diaspora desks into one and create a directorate of diaspora affairs like Ethiopia did in 2002? Today they enjoy these benefits because of the things they did back in 2002. Can Ugandan diaspora replicate that? Can we borrow a leaf? UNAA members, it's about time we sailed above the politics and put our members first, put our country first, work for our children, our grandchildren, and actually focus on issues that really impact change. UNAA funds are intact. Monday Atigo will never use UNAA funds for personal business. Thank you so much.